SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Toyota Brookhaven services all makes and models. That could be why we were voted best service department the past 2 years. Come see why. Exit 40 Brookhaven or online at ToyotaBrookhaven.com. Great service, great savings. At Toyota Brookhaven, we deliver.
Your towns, your teams, your source. That's Y'all Sports. I'm Cliff Furr, the Y'all and Y'all Sports, and this is Y'all Sports Radio. Joined as always by my friend and co-host Brandon Shamatara. And Brandon, it's football week, man. It's football game week. Our MAIS schools in the area, they've got the real thing on Friday night, and then our public school friends, they're playing jamborees this Friday. Man, doesn't it? Hey, despite the 101-degree heat, doesn't it feel great for football to be back?
Oh, man, what about the feelings and emotions? Just the excitement's building to something special. It's going to be a great year for Lincoln County football.
It really is. It really is. You know, I've been doing some work for Y'all Sports over the last few weeks, going around and catching kids as they've been doing their workouts, and then I've got my preseason team of players to watch. They'll be coming out later this week. We call that the Y'all 22. People asked me last year.
You got all 22 already?
Well, yeah, I got all 22.
Or somebody on the bubble. You got a couple on the bubble.
I settled the bubble up this week. But look, the Y'all 22, somebody asked me last year, Brandon, they said, why 22? I said, you ever heard of the all 22? That's the end zone cam that shows you the entire field. And so we love to a play on words at Y'all Sports. Yeah. And so the Y'all 22 debuted last year. Feel pretty good about it. Had a junior on it from Brookhaven High named Derwin Fields, who folks know about.
He's all right.
Hey, you can go ahead and pencil him in. There's one. You got 21 left. Got a guy named Jaden Allen. He was on it last year. You can go ahead and pencil him in.
He'll do. I'll draft him on my team. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be coming out later this week. But I stopped by Meet the Panthers at King Field the other night, and I was talking to Derwin, I was talking to Cadero, talking to some of those guys that I've built friendships and relationships with. And I told Cadero, I said, hey, have you been seeing how much smack I've been talking online? And he was like, yeah, I've been seeing it. And I was like, hey, well, I'm going to need y'all to back that up. And he was like, I got you, coach. And I was like, all right. Yeah. So, it's that time. Brookhaven will be going over to Mendenhall on Friday. They'll be playing a controlled deal. They're going to do some 7-on-7. They're going to do some competition with wide receivers and DBs and both sides of the line going against each other. And they're going to do some scripted kind of situations where they play, they run some plays through. I know Franklin County's going over to Natchez. I'm trying to think. I think Crystal Springs playing Yazoo City. I know Hazelhurst has got Hazelhurst, Lawrence County. That'll be a fun one. Our buddy Coach Jesse Anderson, that was a longtime Lawrence County coach. He's going to be taking his Hazelhurst Indians to take on Lawrence County. And then, a couple big ones around here. Park Lane Academy they've got all of Southwest Mississippi's pride on their back. They're going down to Gulf Shores. Brandon, I dropped in at Park Lane's coaches meeting on Sunday and got to hear, all right, they're going to roll out at 10 o'clock on Friday. They're going to stop at Spanish Fort and eat Logan's Roadhouse. Everybody's getting a hamburger steak, green beans, I think mashed potatoes and a roll.
Got to be a roll in there.
Got to be a roll. They're taking 4 ice chests filled with water, Powerade, Gatorade. They're trying to find somewhere to get a lift in because that's a thing that a lot of schools do now, right?
Lift? Hold on. What do you mean? They're about to get ready to play a game. What do you mean lift?
Yeah, they're going to do a little pregame. You know those days.
I say that jokingly, but that's just one of the many indicators of Coach Ron Rushing's program and just how well he runs it, because that would be little. All right, so think about this. You're about to go play in another state, this new facility, this great football team, and most coaches in their mind, they'll be thinking, man, we X's and O's and being sure the guys are mentally prepared. Guess what? No, hey, we're going to work out too.
Yeah.
We're going to get a lift in.
Well,
because we're not going to change what we do just because it's a road trip.
That's right. And their lift at Spanish Fort fell through. But they were trying to get somebody there in the Mobile area to get access to a weight room. And then they're going down and they're going to play Mark Hudspeth, the former ULL head coach, and they're going to play Gulf Shores. And look, Gulf Shores 2 years ago went 15-0 and won a 4A state championship in Alabama. So it's a great test for Park Lane. My parting words to Ron on Sunday were, Coach, don't let it get into the game be decided by an arm wrestling match with the opposing coach, because Hudspeth is on he's on that TRT, and he is he's been doing it way longer.
I was just about to ask you, have you seen Coach Hudspeth lately, and is he still jacked? And of course we know the answer is more than likely yes.
Once you get jacked, you don't get unjacked.
But I'll take Coach Russian and in a race.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he could run.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then Brian Van Goyer, a long time he was the defensive coordinator in the NFL, I think, for Green Bay. He was at Auburn. He was at Notre Dame, and he is the defensive coordinator down there.
What are they doing down there at Gulf Shores, man?
They just opened. They don't play their football games on their new high school campus. They've already had like a nice athletic facility where their football field is, but they just opened their brand new high school football campus. Any idea of what the price tag will be on that, Brandon? Give me a guess.
Well,
give me a number.
It sounds like illions. Let me put a number in front of it. 40?
$135 million campus at Gulf Shores High School. Yeah.
Come on,
yeah. They got,
man.
They literally offer, they offer underwater basket weaving. We say that's always a joke class,
real.
right? It's real. They got a pool.
Wow.
I think they offer underwater welding as an elective. I mean, they are just a huge school down there, and got about 1,000 students, 9 through 12. So it'll be fun for Park Lane to go down there and test their mettle against a big school in Alabama. Here locally on Friday night, I'll be out at Red Stewart Field watching Brookhaven Academy. They're going to be taking on the Bowling Green School Bucks out of Franklinton, Louisiana. Used to be in the same district with BA when I was growing up. We'd always stop at Gerald's and get some delicious seafood buffet going and coming from Washington Parish. But I talked to Ryan Ross yesterday, Brandon. I stopped in a little BA practice and posted an interview on Y'all Sports. If you're ever looking for us, you can find us on Facebook. Just search Y'all Sports, and you'll find us there. Also on Instagram, TikTok as well. And one thing that Coach Ross said was, you hear that all the time, like teams improve from week 1 to week 2. And Bowling Green played a week 0 game last week. They beat ACCS. And Brookhaven Academy, they had their scrimmage against Columbia rained out by just I think the last time it rained here actually was when it got rained out.
Depends on where you're standing. It's rained cats and dogs at my house, and it'll be sunny and hot in the center of town.
It really?
Yeah. No, it's done that like 3 days.
Yeah. Well, my yard would like a little bit of what your yard's getting right now. My grass is crunching under my feet. But Ryan Ross and his crew, they're going to have to. They haven't tackled anybody but each other, and Coach Ross has said they've kind of had to take the pads off and kind of just slow things down this week, not wanting to get hurt. But I enjoyed hearing a little bit of his message to the team yesterday. He said, boys, when you think you've drunk enough water, then drink more.
Drink some more.
And he said, and this is well, I'm going to paraphrase his quote a little bit. He said, you need to be going to the bathroom about every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's good advice, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, one way to think about it is this. All right, so you don't hydrate the day of, right? And I know, we want to slam Gatorades, and all that's good as long as you've done what you needed to do days leading up. And matter of fact, if you're an athlete, you have to drink every day, all day, right? You got to hydrate the whole time. Think about this. You take a sponge and you put it on a table, all right? And you take a gallon of water and you just go pouring that gallon of water out as fast as you can. Well, so much of that is going to repel off of that sponge.
Okay, I'm visualizing right
so,
now.
Yeah, hey, look, it's all about the imagery. So and it's the same way with hydration. I mean, you can't wait till the moment in order to hydrate, because guess what? The old C word comes into play.
That's right.
Cramps, baby, cramps.
That's right.
And they're going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
And
some kids are just more prone to them.
Exactly. And so and there will be plenty of, in September or August into September, they'll have plenty of hydration timeouts and things like that. And so that's good. We always want to, put player safety first. But if you're an athlete, listen to this, guys, gals, whoever, drink up well before, and hydrate, and nutrition is so important.
And the pickle juice will be out. The mustard will be out. It'll be. This is the time for pickle juice to shine.
Did you ever do the salt tablets?
Yeah, Brent. I haven't caught as many full body cramps in my life as you have, brother. So yeah,
salt tablets.
I just usually get my salt from normal sources like bacon and sausage dogs. Yeah. Well, look, one great thing about Friday nights is how when you go to these games, there are so many people that are involved in the event of a Friday night. I mean, if you stop and think about it, folks taking up tickets. Taking up money at the ticket booth when you walk in, the folks that are serving me sausage dogs in the concession stand. Brookhaven Academy has Diet Mountain Dew in their concession stand, which makes it elite in my eyes.
Yes.
The folks on the chain gang, the folks doing the PA, the folks filming. There are so many hands that make a Friday night possible. And you're not even getting into the people that are helping the cheerleaders, the band boosters and supporters that are feeding those kids and taking care of those kids and making sure that they've got the help they need. There's just a lot of moving pieces. And at Brookhaven High, you're talking about a 5A program. They're the biggest program in Southwest Mississippi. At Y'all Sports, we cover 5 counties. We go Copiah, Pike, Lincoln, Lawrence, and Franklin. And out of those 16 schools, Brookhaven High is the biggest. So that means that they have even more moving pieces on a Friday night. You've been to games at Kingfield, Brandon. You know it takes more security. It takes more people to man the visiting side and just all that goes into it. And a huge part of that for Brookhaven High and what makes the Brookhaven High football experience so special is the dedicated radio team. And look, would we like to have them all in here? Yeah, but we don't have enough mics. So we picked one. All right, we picked one. And I got my man, that's our guest for today, Shannon Aker. I almost called him Coach. Shannon Aker is going to be on with us today. And we're going to be talking about the history of the crew of guys that have been calling BHS football for all these years. I'm a fan, Brandon. I'm not just Johnny come lately. I've heard Shannon call him Mark Crazy Leg Lewis or Jeff Millhouse Richardson. I'm a fan, and some of the best laughs of a Friday night have been me riding in my car. What Shannon does on his post-game show is important to me. It's been important to me for years when I was on the radio, when I was doing the newspaper, and I needed to know who won those other games. And listen, when Bogachita goes to Salem, there's no internet access coming out of there, brother. Yeah. Okay? There's no tweets. There's no updates on Facebook. But Perry Brown is going to call Shannon after the game, and he's going to tell him who won and lost. Yeah. And that's just – it's important to have that.
Yeah, and it's just it takes buy-in from so many people, and you name the school, and we can start naming individual responsibilities. Hey, people come together, and it's special, and it's what makes Mississippi, South Mississippi, it makes it so great because you got all these people who care, and then not to mention like after the games, when the dew is starting to settle on the field, there's still people there, cleaning up, and they're loving on the players and the cheerleaders, and they're saying, "Hey, great job! Win, lose, or draw. Great job. Hey, listen, go get some rest. We're proud of you." And that means so much to the coaches and the players and everybody associated with putting on a game.
It's the people. I often think about why do you love Southwest Mississippi so much? Why do you love your hometown? Because I got an older brother who's never lived here. He's always lived all around the country.
He don't get it.
I'm not gonna hate on my brother, but yeah, I mean we're wired different, right? And so I've often thought, like, why do I love this place so much? And it's the people. And coming up next on Y'all Sports Radio, we got one of my favorite people, Shannon Aker, talking BHS football next on Y'all Sports Radio. Don't go anywhere.
Exciting news, Brookhaven. Juan Seed Store has a fresh start under new ownership. Meet Guy and Paige Nelson, who are thrilled to welcome you to our fabulous new location at 636 Greenview Trail. At Juan Seed Store, we're not just about seeds. Discover a wide range of top-quality feed, seed, and everything you need for your outdoor adventures. Explore our expanded selection of gardening essentials, pet supplies, and outdoor gear. It's a whole new experience waiting for you. Juan Seed Store, more than just a seed store. Visit us today and see the difference at 636 Greenview Trail in Brookhaven.
Good Hope Land and Timber is a full-service land and timber company that offers years of experience in forestry and land management. Our services include timber and land purchasing, timber management, plantation thinning, and development harvesting. Our company has an experienced logging force that is trained according to the Sustainable Forestry Initiative and best management practices. Give Sam Ballard a call at 601-669-5999 for all your timber harvesting and land management needs.
All right, we're back on Y'all Sports Radio, and before we get going, we can't help but start and thank our sponsors who make Y'all Sports Radio possible. That's Bank of Brookhaven, Toyota of Brookhaven, Sam Ballard with Good Hope Land and Timber, Brandon Shamatara, State Farm Insurance, and Juan Seed Store. When this thing goes to podcast, you can hear it thanks to our friends at Juan Seed Store, where they're more than a seed store. And you heard the voice on the radio. You know the voice if you listen to SuperTalk at any point during the day. You hear our buddy Shannon Aker on the radio. And Shannon, man, thank you so much for carving out a little bit of time for us and talking BHS football with us
Man,
today.
I'm excited to be with you guys. Y'all have really built this thing into something here. It's fun to listen to you guys each week and see the stuff you do online, and I appreciate it. I was telling somebody yesterday, you had this idea. And when you first mentioned it to me, I don't think I let you finish getting it out of your mouth. And I said, we want to do something with you because I just knew you would make it a big deal and a fun deal. And the kids, it's been a great way to highlight some of the great kids in our community, too.
You and I have something in common, Shannon, because if you'll remember, Cliff, Cliff invited me to lunch one
We went
day.
to Betty's, yeah.
And I said, I've never been invited. Of course, we've been going to church together for a long time. And we're talking about getting together, eating some lunch. And one day he messaged me, and I said, okay, yeah, look, man, let's do that. So get to Betty's, and then he starts with a sales pitch. A sales pitch, Shannon. And I'm in sales, Shannon.
Right, yeah.
And
you know when you see one.
I know where this is going. And he started mentioning and we talked about it before this, but he started mentioning Y'all Sports. And just like you, I said, stop. Whatever you need, I got you.
True story.
I got you.
True
I believe
story,
it.
yeah.
So, and so many people have supported Cliff and this Y'all Sports venture just like us. And so, but they wouldn't if you didn't do such a good job.
Well,
so
I don't know about that, man. I had somebody angrily calling me today, telling me asked me why I haven't said more about the 1951 Brookhaven High football team recently. That's a true story. And I said, he said they're really good. And I said, he said, well, aren't they in the paper? And I said, well, they hadn't written for the paper in about a year.
Yeah,
I got to go.
Is it a listener?
I don't know.
Well, some time ago we started calling people who were kind of negative. We called them not y'all stars, but y'all crazies.
Yeah,
quit being crazy. Just enjoy what's going on.
Well, everybody loves the shout out. Everybody loves the attention, and but we do talk a lot about Brookhaven High, but it's with good reason, because they have been they took us on a journey last year, Shannon. I say us. That was one that we'll never forget. But before we get into that, Shannon, tell me about when you guys started covering Brookhaven High on the radio.
So we started in 1995, Mark Lewis and I, and Doug Sullivan, the former mayor of Brookhaven,
The
coach,
great
also
Doug Sullivan.
a good longtime coach, did the first broadcast. We went up and played in Madison Central up there, and we did Brookhaven games. And back then we were doing it on Future Vision too, which was a cable channel that we had, the local access channel.
Was that Don Anderson? Was he involved?
And Don
with that?
got involved later, but
Okay.
but he came along a couple years after that. But that's how we started. Tillman Bishop did some games. Jack Rutland did some games with us. So we were plugging different people in, and we went for about a year, probably 2 seasons, doing BA one week and Brookhaven High the next week.
And y'all would show them. They would be on Saturday morning. You could watch it.
Yeah,
And
we'd play it back Friday night, and
That's
then on
right.
Saturday, and then usually one night during the week. And it was a lot of fun to do that and get to know the players back then, that were coming through. And that was kind of how it got started. So that was 31 years ago. Wow. So it's changed over the years. We did a year on B92 in 2003, and then switched when Tucker Peavy, that was his first year, to SuperTalk. At the time, it was Q102. Rusty O'Neill had the station before they got bought by SuperTalk, and did it with him. And it's been a lot of fun. And you know, you can look at your post, some of the pictures you pull out, some of the old pictures. I think Rob McCreary in 95 got hired as an assistant coach by Rusty Funk, who we did that year. Rusty was quite a character. He ran the veer that nobody could stop, a lot of misdirection. And he came here after winning the state championship at a smaller school.
Where was he at?
He was
Stringer.
Stringer.
That's
right. Way to go. Well, good memory. But he was a lot of fun. And Reggie Lee was over at the academy that year. Former Brookhaven High. And Reggie was a great player, quarterback for Brookhaven High many years before that. So you'd be surprised. And on that staff in 95 for Brookhaven, Bobby Bell was an assistant coach.
That's right.
Now, a lot of people don't even know Bobby taught and coached, but he did before he got in law enforcement.
Yeah, Bobby Bell and his wife, Miss Bell, she's still pouring into kids at Alexander. Yeah, and man, I love that you brought up the broadcast that you guys did where you alternated, because I vividly, you know, Shannon, I grew up on Nulla Road, so we only had 4 channels. And so my best friend, Chad Smith, living in town, I could go to his house and they had the local cable. And it felt so big time. And y'all were doing it with a camcorder up on a guy's shoulder, standing in the press box. Were you doing? Were you weren't on the sideline?
We were all
time.
3 up there on the boot. It was like a Monday Night Football deal. It was, and you got to understand, we're 3 fans that happen to have microphones, so we don't really know what we're talking about. Rob played community college. I played high school football, and so we know we love Brookhaven. We know we're Brookhaven fans, so that's what we're going to talk about. But what's fun too, Cliff, we do 1 county game a year at least.
That's right.
And Brookhaven has an off night, and that's a lot of fun. I don't know, Brandon, if you've been out to any county games, but you know, Wesson is as fun a team there is to watch right now with what they do, and they've been doing it a while with Jeremy Loy. So you got different kinds of football, and all 4 of the county schools have their personalities. They're kind of, you know, it's a 1 county, but each school is an individual world of its own.
Their rivalries,
and, we had Perry Brown turn the lights out. We were doing a game with, I think Bogachitta was playing Enterprise one time, and he flicked the lights out before everybody was gone because they got beat. But my favorite, Perry Brown, years ago, we were over in Mendenhall. That's where Don Coleman's from. They still have a picture of him on the stadium there. Not really. But we went into overtime, so Perry was our post-game caller, you know, for Bogachitta. And Perry got into the liquor cabinet before we got him on the air. So by the time he got on, he was doing his Jack Crystal impersonations, and he was very feeling very good. The libations had been flowing.
Is that what Rob does now? Shout out to you, Rob.
Yeah, but the next day, and Perry was fine. We didn't have anything happen that shouldn't happen. But I could tell he was you know feeling extra good. The next morning he called me and said, "Man, I'm sorry about last night." I said, "It's okay, Perry. You didn't curse or anything, so we're okay. We'll be back up next week."
Hey, I've got one that is one of my favorites. I can't remember where I was going or where I was coming from, but I was tuned into your post game show, and Dr. Ed Moak had called you from Brookhaven Academy at Benton Academy game, and I learned more about Bentonia, Mississippi, in about a 5-minute rant that he did. I didn't know that Grant camped there at Bentonia on the march to Vicksburg.
Come on.
And, you would learn some stuff with Dr. Moak get on the mic.
We would one night we were coming home on a road game and he was on. I said, let's just see how long he'll go without me asking him a question. I set my phone down. He went 24 minutes before he finally ran out of breath. He was asking and answering his own questions. One night he was driving home and Patty was driving, and he said, you know, BA had the ball on third down and 10 and went for a want to take a right here, Patty. And then they get back in there, you know, oh, you missed a turn. You know, it was just, he was just, but you know, you have personalities. Everybody's kind of got what they do. And Dr. Moak, nobody uses the English language like he does.
I actually, one night I was out there and I recorded, this is bad, but I want to know how long he was going to pray for. So I recorded the length of his prayer, and I wrote in an article that the opening drive for the Cougars took less time to score. I knew they were playing somebody bad. I knew Fort Mary was going to get one real quick. I was like, the opening drive was quicker than the opening prayer. But man, you're right, Shannon. It's so much fun to experience those personalities at the different schools, and I was talking about jamborees later. I'll be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that West Lincoln is hosting all of the Lincoln County schools. They're gonna Lloyd Star, West Lincoln, Bogachita, and Enterprise they're gonna have their jamboree out there on Friday starting at 7:00. I think my sister Katie's gonna be out there taking pictures for y'all sports. But yeah, I love the game that you guys do. You've done Weston, you've done Enterprise. Mm-hmm. You've done some memorable ones when Brookhaven was off.
Yeah, we've been to Bogachita. We've been to every one of the county schools. Of course, Lloyd Star, they're on our sister station.
That's right.
So we don't usually go do their games because Terry Britt, that crew does a great job with those games. And Terry calls us every week and tells us about their season. It's been really good the last few years. But it's fun talking to those people. And you're right. That's one of the things – We thought, what can we do different? So King's Daughters does a pregame show with us where we can talk about the team we're getting ready to play. We can talk about the other games in the area, maybe the Colin game the night before, who looked good, because so many of our guys from Brookhaven High are going to Colin and playing now. Unfortunately, Dreamus, I think, got hurt, and he's going to be out.
Yeah, I saw him on crutches at the little camp they had. And
ACL, I think,
I feared
what
for
I
the
heard.
worst.
I don't want to say that. I don't know for sure, but so. We know we have fun with that before the game, talking about, we'll have the coach on, kind of getting his last thoughts before the team takes the field. And you guys know, y'all have been around places, and Cliff, you've coached a lot of different, you've seen it. Brookhaven High School, in 1981, I was in college at Ole Miss and rode to Brookhaven with a roommate, and he said, hey, we're going to go to the Brookhaven game tonight. We were spending the weekend in Brookhaven. I said, we're going to a high school football game on Friday night, but that's really the place to be. Yep. And, man, you talk about pageantry.
Yep.
The band, it was a packed-out Alka Smith, who's been dead many years now, was on the PA, who was very much a character. And I just thought, man, this is – my high school in Memphis, it was nothing like this. This is great, man. Everybody was there. It was safe. It was fun. The food was good, a lot of fellowship. And I thought, this is a fun atmosphere. You can't just make this up. It happens, like you said earlier, a lot of people, a lot of moving parts on Friday night.
That's right. And the thing I love about King Field is it's a little amphitheater. Mm-hmm. You've got the auditorium wall there. You've got the gym wall. And the old brick bleachers that the home side is built up, and the press box, and just there's you said pageantry. That is absolutely right. It feels unlike any other place that you go to watch a game.
And you homecoming. Cliff's going to have a good chance this season to see that with his daughter. But
shout out to Amelia Furr on the Brookhaven High homecoming court. Proudest dad in Brookhaven right here.
That's great. But they do homecoming like nobody else. Yeah. So they have that homecoming show doing live music that they practice for. They're practicing right now for homecoming.
There's nothing like it.
It's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of pride taken in that. It's a tourist. I'm on the tourism council. We watch the numbers when that happens, and the people that come home to go to the homecoming play and get involved in the game and be here. It's a great thing for our town.
That's why I've never been able to get a ticket. I'm still like trying to get ahead of it, but me moving here over 5 years ago, I still haven't been to a performance.
We're gonna get you one. Yeah. Graham Furr's going to be in the production. Amelia's going to be in the production, and my wife. Amelia said, how are we going to get enough tickets for everybody that's going to go? And my wife said, we'll just figure it out. But yeah, sometimes you got to buy those things on the black market. Well, look, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming high school football season for the Brookhaven Panthers, and we're going to talk about the matchups that we're excited about, and we'll probably also talk about the fact that the Panthers are the 5A defending state champs next on Y'all Sports Radio.
Welcome to Juan Seed Store. your go-to spot for all your farming and agriculture needs right here in Brookhaven. Located at 636 Greenview Trail, we're much more than just a seed store. Discover our extensive selection of plated dog collars and Garmin collar systems while you're here. Don't forget to grab your feed and treats for your furry friends. Shop with us Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. One Seed Store, where we're so much more than just a seed store.
Trust the experts at Good Hope Land and Timber, your full-service land and timber company with years of experience in forestry and land management. From land and timber purchasing, timber management, plantation thinning, and development harvesting, our team handles it all. Our experienced logging force is trained to the highest standards under the Sustainable Forestry Initiative and best management practices. Call Sam Ballard today at 601-669-5999. Good Hope Land and Timber, locally trusted, landowner approved.
All right, we're back on Y'all Sports Radio, and I've got my handy-dandy BHS football schedule right here in front of me. And one cool thing about how the season plays out is that the Panthers are going to play the teams they played last year. They're just going to play them flip, home and away. And we know on August 28th, Brookhaven will invade Monticello. Pizza Inn, get ready. Go ahead and start baking up the extra pies. The Brookhaven High Panthers will be coming to town. And our guest today is Shannon Aker, a longtime fixture on Brookhaven High radio, covering the Panthers. He was there when they won the first state championship. The great Jimmy Johns, Jesse Bowman, Bud Chapman, Ronnie McNulty, Tucker Peavy coach team. Shannon, when the 2025 season started, did you think the Panthers were going to be state champs?
You know, Coach Peavy told me that he and Leanne are good friends of my wife and I, and he told me when he was stepping down, he said, you know, I could stay. He said, but I want Coach Dorsey to get off to a great start. That's how he is. He knew we'd be really good. We had got to the South State Championship game and really, you know, we had two shots at it with a field goal and missed them. And what I loved about him, as soon as Isles missed that field goal the second time, the first guy grabbed him and hugged him was Coach Peavy, saying, I'd kick it again.
That's right.
And that's what it's all about. And we thought we would, but man, you know how it is. Y'all know you played college. You gotta stay healthy.
Yep.
You got to get a couple breaks, and you just had all that line up last year.
I think one of my favorite parts of the season, Shannon, was over at Summerall. I had gone to the Lawrence County game to open the season. And then Y'all Sports pulled me in other areas.
Yep.
I missed the loss at Macomb. My sister and my son went down there, and they talked about what a rock fight that was of a football game. And then but I also missed the highs of the Madison Central win. And so when they went to Summerall, it felt like the team was still trying to get everybody pulling in the same direction. And on that night, you saw guys like Tanner Hardy step up with a 3-interception game.
Yeah.
You saw Randy Jones get inserted on the defensive line and play really well. And that kind of solved the piece of the puzzle that, okay, Randy can play some downs and Philip Tobias Jr. can play some downs and they can rotate in and out. That felt like a night where the championship run kind of started,
I think exactly right. We kind of just all clicked that night and it all came together. And that we go into that game, they were undefeated. And they were hosting us. They were new to our district, and they thought, hey, we're going to catch Brookhaven at the right time. And, you know, it looked like they might at first. Their coach is a Brookhaven person that grew up in Brookhaven, so Mandy Vinson's cousin.
That's right.
So it was tough. But, man, coming out of that one, and we had some adversity. You know, we had one of our best players didn't play most of the night, just wasn't having a good night. Mentally kind of took himself out of the game. So you got to step up, and it was kind of all men on deck that night, and they came through.
It was a fun one, and it kind of spurred us on. And then when we think about the playoffs, I guess it was first round was that Van Cleve or Northeast Jones?
Yeah, Northeast
Jones, and then eventually Laurel and South State.
And Laurel scared us. I mean, we thought it's hard to beat somebody twice.
Yep.
But they came to our place, you know, which was great, and that was a good win. And you think about it now, in 2022, we were 1-9. And we had Gayton as one of our backs, and we were 1-9. That's the season. Everything that went wrong could go wrong. It went wrong.
Yep.
You got guys getting hurt. We would get ahead in games and just find ways to lose. I'd never seen anything like it. So
the Gayton's game against Natchez is one I'll never forget that season. He's got 350 yards in the first 3 quarters, and then he turns his ankle and he has to go to the bench, and Natchez starts slinging it all over the place and comes back and beats us. And you're right, Shannon. They had to beat South Jones the last game of the season to win one game, but as I've just told the story over and over to folks that, hey, the seniors on the state championship team were 1-9 freshmen. They got thrown into the fire. A lot of them had to play, and I think it paid off handsomely last year with the 5A championship. I know Brandon was there. We saw each other that night and talked. I don't think any of us will ever forget that night in Starkville and the rain and the first half, and then man, what a celebration it was in the second half, Shannon.
And what I love about high school football, I looked up, taking all that in. You're there. You taught a lot of those guys, and I look over, there's Tommy Clopton, there's Tucker Peavy, there's Jeremy Loy. All those guys were connected to Brookhaven football over the years. Jeremy knew a lot of those kids because his sons were kind of coming along at the same time. Yep. So I love that about high school sports, just those guys all pulling for each other, and they've all been at Brookhaven.
And you're right, and it even goes beyond that. Like Tanner Hardy. If I say something good about Tanner Hardy on Y'all Sports, the kids that played Dixie Youth with him, Tanner's a great kid. Like Talon, or kids that grew up like Talon Welch, it's a great wide receiver out at Brookhaven Academy. He grew up in the Brookhaven School District, and those were his friends. And so the love gets shared, and it really feels like that's something that's important for me to Y'all Sports is sharing the love. And when one team is up, I want everybody to know, hey, let's all get behind them. And I really felt that last year when BHS went to Starkville.
I did see some BA kids in the stands that night. And when we won the championship in 2004, man, there was a ton of people from Brookhaven Academy, Lincoln County Schools in the stands. And they told us then, we were leaving that night, they said, well, the guy that was doing the PA said, y'all had the biggest crowd of any of the nights.
Wow.
Brookhaven brought the most people. And I
it
said,
might have been the
community.
Worst night.
Yeah.
It might have been the worst night of all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cold. It was
now,
rainy.
this is an 2004 I'm talking about.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So 04.
That was played at Veterans Memorial Stadium, and one whole side
Back
of the
when
stadium was Brookhaven High fans. You can find that game on YouTube if you search, folks. That game was broadcast by MPB, and they beat Clarksdale in a really fun game. And you can see Jimmy and the guys doing it. You can also find the Franklin County 06 championship. That's a 20-year anniversary this season. We had Jeremy Loy on here earlier, and he was talking about what a terrible play caller he was as a young coach. And I said, buddy, you had Jamie Collins. You didn't really have to call the right play. You just said, Jamie, go score.
Yeah.
It made it easy. Well,
last year I was going to say at the game, everybody was telling us West Point. Y'all can show up at West Point. We thought, hey, if we get the championship game, that's great.
Yeah.
And their people at the radio crew they had was telling us, y'all have never seen anything like us. And we started saying, hey, well, wait a minute now. They got to play the game. I couldn't find those guys when the game was over.
They got the heck out of – they went back to Tate County real quick.
But now they're already posting things about they're going to be back there looking for us this year.
Yeah.
So,
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Shannon, a little food for thought here. I'm not sure who's talking the most trash, West Point or Cliff. Right?
Okay.
There's a lot of trash being thought out there by Cliff.
Well, I mean, Shannon, I started feeling disrespected for our kids the moment that the game was over, because the next night I was watching Columbia play because I'm a Jamie Palmer guy, and they had Steve Robertson was doing color on the broadcast, or he was doing the pregame, him and Jake Wimberly, and Jake Wimberly said, "Wow, I was pretty shocking about West Point losing last night," and he was like, yeah, but they'll be back. He was like, 5A still runs through West Point. And I was like, man.
It's that quick.
Yeah. How soon they forget. And I'm not going to let if a West Point fan comes on Y'all Sports, I'm not going to let them forget at all who the 5A champs are.
I knew at halftime, I ran down to interview the coach before they went into the into the dressing room at halftime. And I could just tell by looking at him, something had clicked, and he saw something that he was right. Yeah. And I started getting some texts. Jimmy Johns texted me, Jesse Bowman, saying, we're fixing to win this game. And so that's fun, too, knowing those guys were watching it from where they were, and those guys that used to play that were pulling for them, too. And that's a fun thing about it. I ran into J.Q. Edwards, who was a running back. I talked to Trace Clopton today for a long time. And I love seeing that. I can't tell you how many times I've been out with Tucker Peavy eating dinner, and somebody will come over to him that played for him and want to talk to him, or they'll call and say, "Hey, I wanted you to know I've taken this job, so here's what I'm doing now." It's a special thing, and you guys have played for coaches that you keep up with them. You want to know, they want to know what you're doing, and that's the bigger picture.
Absolutely, there's no greater connection. There really isn't. Than I love what you said there. Calling coach and letting him know those big moments in our life. I mean, that just shows you it's so much more than just a game. Well, look. Brandon's going to hit you with some questions in a second. He's going to hit rapid fire. Before he does, though, I might steal a little bit of your thunder, Brandon. You might have this on the list. But look, you said you started in 95, right?
Right.
All right. So it's been a few years. I know I know the big ones. If I were to ask you, like I know the state championship games. I also know the famous Wayne County game where Bud's catch.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
Sent us to the state championship, but give me maybe another one that I don't know of, one of your all-time favorite moments calling.
Well,
VHS.
South Pike, Randall Huffman was the coach there who had coached Brookhaven as assistant when Greg Wall was here.
That's right.
And he was tough. He rode a motorcycle. Little skinny guy, smoked a cigarette after cigarette. But he knew football.
A legend.
And,
we couldn't have him on here because unlike Perry Brown, he would probably say something that wouldn't be fit for radio.
Yeah, you're right. I could hear him from across the field. But we were down there playing, and their field was really tight. You didn't have much room between the sideline and the stands, much less people standing, the players on the sidelines. And we played them the year we won the championship in 2004. And Ronnie McNulty was our running back who got hurt in that game and missed several games after that. And we put in Charles Wilson, who was a completely different type of back. So Jamie Palmer called different plays that suited him, that they hadn't really seen, South Pike hadn't seen, and we just beat them like a rented mule. Just they thought we got him there. Ronnie McNulty's out, he's done, and we just changed some things we did, and we just kept. Of course, nobody could stop Jimmy. He put the team on his back, but that's just good coaching. It was fun to see these guys we've got. Not only do we have good players, we got some really good coaches.
Charles Wilson, a few years later, when he was a senior, he was a 10th grader that season. A few years later, I was a senior. I taught him. And there was nobody who believed in themselves more than Charles Wilson. He was, but he was a great little running back, and very similar to Ronnie, but different in ways. And man, I tell folks all the time, Shannon, I can remember one where South Pike came to town. I believe it was T.C. Taylor's senior year, and Lawrence County, that 4A division, Lawrence County, Macomb, Brookhaven, South Pike. If you won it, you were probably going to win the state championship. And that was one of the biggest crowds I have ever seen. That might have been the game that was like 6-0 or something. It was a crazy game. It was cold. I can remember vividly, like I said, growing up on Nulla Road, there were people parking their cars at the Star Drive-In and walking all the way down Monticello Street to get to King Field.
Well, one more thing before you start, I was going to say that this is why I love high school sports. We're at practice in that 2004 season, and Ronnie McNulty, Coach Peavy just got him out there because he heard what a great athlete he was. He hadn't played football, hadn't played any team sports. And Ronnie would tell you he was real selfish. Yeah. He got mad at practice and basically quit the team this before the season started and went up to the field house, and Tucker, went with him. And, Monday comes around. This was on a Thursday. Monday comes around. He wants to come back. They have a team meeting, and basically the team votes not to let him come back.
Wow.
But Tucker says, I will overrule the team and the coaches, but you've got to apologize to everybody that was at practice. Yeah. So you had Michael Peavy and his dad, and I think Tristan was at practice. He did. He went to like 25 people in person and apologized and came back, got on the team, and he was the difference in that state championship game. And Ronnie McNulty told the team 2 years ago at homecoming that story. He goes, man, I wouldn't even be, if it wasn't for Brookhaven High School football. He went on in the military, was an officer.
Career.
And he said, I would not be standing here. He goes, I'd be in a gang or dead if it wasn't for football, high school football, and Coach Tucker Peavy.
Oh, chills,
man. That is awesome. So many moments like that football and sports in general can teach you. And that was a turning point in his life. And set the trajectory for the rest of it. Look, I'm excited about this rapid fire section because we get to highlight who you are and some things that you like. And I'll compliment you here. I think you and the Bank of Brookhaven do a wonderful job of supporting the local, being involved and just loving on the people in town. And so great job there. These questions are going to kind of piggyback that.
All right.
All right, so here's the first one. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. What is one word that best describes Brookhaven?
Friendly.
Okay. Why is supporting local businesses so important to you and the bank?
Because we're all part of a family in this town. I mean, Friday night football, that's family time. And you just want to connect with your people.
I like it. What's your favorite Brookhaven football memory?
That 04 season.
Yeah.
That whole season.
Yeah. That was.
We'd pull up in the bus. The other team would come out to watch our players. They wanted to see Jimmy Johns and Jesse Bowman, our two Dandy Dozen players.
And I'll say this. So, of course, I was in high school. That was my senior football season.
In high school, really?
And I kept up with Brookhaven High, and I had no idea. I'd never been here, but because I was a SuperTalk Friday night call-in show, man, I listened to that religiously.
Where did you go to high school?
North Delta School in Batesville.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yes.
Because you had South Panola was real good back then, too.
So I understand what was going on here because the same thing was happening there.
Yes. I wish they could have played each other. There was some talk about that.
Well,
that'd have been fun.
The fact that the Clarion Ledger put Brookhaven High on the cover of their football preview that year just showed you everybody in the state knew the Panthers were for real.
And that's probably what caught my eye as a high school senior because I knew what South Panola had. And so special things going on down here at that time,
Piggies.
too. Yeah, Derek. Oh, man, I could go on and on. Like 4 NFL guys.
Oh, yeah. I remember those guys.
What local community event do you look forward to every year?
Brookhaven Homecoming.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll get a ticket this year. And get
We're working on that right now. Coach Manny Vincent's working on that for us right now.
Hey, got 2 more for you.
All right.
Finish this sentence. Brookhaven is special because.
Man, there's so many things that make it special, but traditions, things that people have done that we're still doing all these years later.
Yeah.
People start things, and we try to keep it going.
I'll agree to that. And anybody who's never lived anywhere else, it's different. It is different here.
Like even at your church.
Yeah.
What y'all doing out there with that park.
Oh, man.
That's tied to what happened out there a long time ago at Hikes Retreat, you know.
Yeah. Special things all the way around. Favorite thing on Friday nights with the radio crew? What's your favorite part about it?
Well, we take off early, brother.
Yeah.
So we leave out at lunch. We may be playing over at we played at Macomb, but we may go to New Orleans and have a late lunch, come back this way.
Yeah.
So we make it an adventure, and that's
It's
fun.
an event.
I don't know how many miles you'd be the same way.
Yeah.
I've traveled on Friday nights, and then back in the old days, I was going to Ole Miss games on Saturday. So
back in the old days, I was listening to you one night, and y'all were leaving straight from here going to Georgia, and that's the kind of road trip I love, Shannon. I mean, I'm a driver. I was like, I wanted to call you and say, can I jump in with y'all to go watch Ole Miss play at Georgia?
And we may or may not have had a ticket. So
Great job, Shannon.
it's experience,
Yeah, and that's the fun thing about your post game show, Shannon, is you can tell you're walking to the car sometimes.
Yeah.
You're at Laurel
Out of breath,
and
yeah.
you're walking to the car and you're talking and you're like, all right, I'm gonna let Corey Myers go here for a second while I get the car running. We hear the ding, we hear you putting your seatbelt on, and we never know where you're gonna go next. You might be going to Oxford, but I've always noticed, yes, you guys always make a plug of where you ate lunch that day, and it always sounds delicious. You're doing it right, man.
Well, and Corey Myers, he played at BA, so we did his games back when he played on Future Vision. So
right. Hey, he was on the team. Let's don't get him too far. Let's don't boost him up too far.
Hey, and Brandon, you're great to have as a sponsor. Brandon Shamatara, First Down, and a lot of times Rob Fisher will now sing that.
Yeah.
And Rob does not sing well. His wife plays a great piano, but so that's kind of we have fun with that too. And what we do, and I don't know that I've told this story, but we buy the time and then we sell it to our sponsors, and then we give the coaches money at Christmas. Because you talk about underpaid individuals, the amount of time they spend with kids cleaning up jerseys, listening to sob stories. I don't know if you remember Ed Smith at the Toyota store right now that works for Prentice.
Yep.
Shantez Smith played for us. He came
Great
in one
player.
summer when Tommy was there. He ended up being a great player. He got there that summer and started for us. He got sick, was throwing up in David Martin's car coming back from Pascagoula. But the coaches are there with him. Go get him checked out at the hospital. I mean, it's like 3 or 4 in the morning, and they in their personal time and just the amount of love these guys have for these kids. I think it was Billy Graham said nobody influences more people than a coach, and I think that's true.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, like as former coaches, well, of course, Cliff, he picked his whistle.
He's back in it. He's back in it, baby.
Yeah.
And so, just to know that you guys are supporting the coaches out, that we call it a Christmas bonus.
Oh, it means a lot.
Oh,
it means a lot,
that
man.
goes so far. And just to kind of piggyback what you said about what the coaches do with the player, that's the things that we know about.
Oh yeah,
and it's just it's a calling, man, and they do so much for these young men, and then for the female athletes, we got to include all coaches.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so
Mandy
many
Benson,
things that go in to taking care of a football team, and it's special. Some of the things that I miss about coaching, now there's a lot that I don't miss.
Yeah,
but those parts of it are so special. They're lifelong, and I just commend you guys for being a part of that as well.
It's fun, and I can't believe with all you got going on, you're back in, baby. You are the man.
Well, I mean, I've learned time management for sure, but it's only 12 games for Alexander basketball, and I went to all of them last year because my son played, and I said, well, this year I'll just be driving the bus and making substitutions to be the only difference. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Look, a lot of what we talked about tonight, the love that we have the love we have for King Field, and just the atmosphere under the Friday night lights there, it's big time. It is. For us around here, it's big time. It's a big time atmosphere. And you guys knowing that you're going to be on the radio and that people are going to be able to tune in and hear you every week, it's just made it even more big time. And, there's no way for any of us to thank you for what you've done. But I promise you, I've listened to probably more of your radio shows than most around here that don't have kids playing because of my years in the newspaper and knowing that, hey, I can go watch Boga Chitto because I've done this before, Shannon. I've had you in one ear and Greg and Terry in the other ear keeping up. And you kind of feel schizophrenic there for a minute. But yeah. But man, it hasn't been lost on me. And you just said something there that's just hugely important for me. You said it's been a lot of fun. And that's people ask me about y'all sports and how it's been going the first year. And I say, man, I say the same thing to everybody. It is so much fun. And it's so much fun giving these kids the recognition. It's so much fun following these teams. I want to be like you, and that's what we're trying to do with y'all sports. And it's like, because you guys, if you listen, you are having fun on the radio. All right, let me get it right here. All right, Mark Millhouse.
Robert Millhouse Fisher.
Okay.
Also Rob Crazy Legs Fisher.
Okay, all right.
Mark was on the team too. I'll say I don't know how much he played. He was glad to be there.
Yeah.
I think he kept some stats.
Yeah.
And Jeff Richardson helps us. And Jeff is 5'2", but he gets a lot out of that frame. Yeah. And he still talks about Little League baseball like it happened yesterday. He will fight you about a city championship baseball game. He called somebody one night on the way to a game to tell me about something that happened in 1976.
Mark Jeff will have you on, and maybe you can give us a firsthand account of that on Y'all Sports Radio. I could tell you about how I was the worst Little League player in Brookhaven history. I could probably call somebody and get that verified as well. Man, this has been...
Hey, before you go, I just got to say, I knew his mother. Yeah. She would be loving y'all sports.
She would.
I wish she was here to see this.
She would. She would also love Facebook. My mama didn't get to experience Facebook, but she just gossiped on the cordless phone like we used to back in the day. Well, look, that's Y'all Sports Radio. Wish we had another hour. Want to thank our sponsors, as always, for their support of Y'all Sports Radio. And until next time, we'll see you on the sidelines of Southwest Mississippi.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.